Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So, we've ended, the President Joe Biden apparently said, was it a couple of days ago, that the pandemic's over. COVID is over. So, good to know, because I think my COVID is pretty much gone. I'm coughing a little bit, but it's pretty much done. So now I'm in the next panic mode and getting ready for the Jewish New Year, which means I'm offline for 2 days, right? Which is, it takes a lot of planning, right? It takes a lot of planning. So this is my me making content, right? I'm making a lot of content, ahead of time, so I can post them. I don't know when this video is going out. This is probably going out before the Jewish New Year, which is on Sunday night and Monday night, and I'll probably do a live stream right afterwards on Tuesday. Right, because again, I'm offline for ages, and I get a bit jittery. Yeah, just the way it is. But the way it is. But yeah, so now this is me trying desperately to get content ready before I enter the great blackness that is the Jewish New Year. Although for me, it's not really a great blackness. It's a lot of food, right? It's just a lot of food, and there's always a lot of. I mean, like in every Jewish holiday is apart from the Jewish New Year, but every other Jewish holiday is they tried to kill us. They failed. Let's eat, right? And everything has its own food. The big one, if you want to play along at home, the big one is dipping, getting a slice of apple and dipping it in honey. The apple is round, and it's supposed to symbolize a round, fault-free year, and dipping in honey, making it nice and sweet, and also tastes kind of yummy. If you want to get some dates as well, we do. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I think I talked about on my live streams. Anyway, I digress. I have to get content ready, and the good Lord smiled upon me. In 3 ways yesterday, right? So, way number one, my son, who has just come back from America? He was in Florida as a diving instructor, having a great time. And never trust a diving instructor. He told me the way to get good tips he's worked out was at the end of every dive when he comes up. He said the punters, they just want to feel like they did well, right? So at the end of every dive, he said, no matter what happens, that was the best dive I've ever had. He always ended up getting very good tips. He's a very charming boy. Anyway, he came back, and there's a car that he shares with his sister. Thankfully, his sister's away. There's going to be fireworks when she comes back. But it wouldn't start, right? It wouldn't start. So one of my prayers yesterday was to the good Lord, can it just be something easy? And it was, right? There's a code you got to put in to start the car. Otherwise, it won't. And he put that in wrong. So the car's working. That's right. But really, that was my prayer's answer. The second prayer I had answered is this video. I'm like, I gotta make content, right? I gotta make content. And the Guardian put out this interview with Stephen Moffat, which looks like it's gonna be fantastic. That's what we're gonna be reading here in this video. And then the third way, right? I saw the funeral. I'm recording this on what was it, Tuesday, September 20th? I saw the funeral of the Queen was going to be at 11 o'clock in UK time. So I figured 6 hours later, I'm golden to stream, right? I'm not gonna be stepping on the Queen's funeral. I didn't want to do that at all. Literally, as it ended, like we saw Charles and everybody just go round the corner through a gate or something. I can't remember what happened, right? But it ended like a minute before my stream started. So I had three things I need to be grateful for yesterday. The central one, of course, is this interview with Stephen Moffat. Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fantastic. All those things are fan-dabby, double-dozy. You listen. Who couldn't trust a husband and wife act when the wife pretends to be a little schoolboy? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you've got to check out the Crankies, right? But their theme, their catchphrase was "Fan-dabby, double-dozy." So, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are very, very good. Yeah, I'd love to pop over 3,500. Man, YouTube, they just keep you back. It's incredible. Yeah, if my channel wasn't being throttled, I'll probably be at about 30,000 subscribers by now. If you can hit the subscribe button, that would really help me, right? Really crazily help me. Sign up my Substack. It's my email newsletter. I do fully expect to have my channel banned or closed down or something before the midterms in America, because bitching about Doctor Who might make people vote a way that YouTube doesn't want them to vote, right? So yeah, I think I get caught in that algorithm. So sign up my Substack, which is my email newsletter. It's in the video notes. I also put in extra stuff like the archive stuff from Doctor Who magazine. I've got a whole digital trove of them, right? And no one's ever reprinting these articles. So I keep putting stuff out there. I put out on Fridays, if I remember. And out of print Doctor Who book. I've been doing like the New Adventures or the Eighth Doctor Adventures from the BBC. Just like, it's free, okay? It's free. You want to be super nice, sign up my paid one where I give out, I'm really into the idea of doing these art cards, but boy, I haven't had time to do them. I've been sick, so sign up for that and you'll get something, right? You'll get something. What will you get? I don't know. I hope it'll be good. But you get the sparkling content anyway. Like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. All those things are very good. Let's have a look at this interview, right? Again, thank you very much, both the Guardian and the Good Lord. It's very rare that the Guardian and God work together in tandem. They did today just to please me, so thank you very much. But this is the headline that caught me. Insane right-wing misogynist? I'm none of those things. Stephen Moffat on Doctor Who, his BAFTAs and his critics. I never knew he was being lambasted for not being woke enough, which is apparently what the headline is trying to say. Now, I always got to define woke, right? If everybody watching, because they keep their go-to response is like, well, what does woke mean anyway? It's a meaningless term. So I'll define it for you, no problem. Woke means the uncomfortable platforming of ideology on an existent popular franchise. Right, that's essentially what woke is, and it's there's lots of other segments to it, look like aspects of being woke, but that's essentially what it is. It almost always goes hand to hand with a massive dive in quality. In fact, a lot of time when things are very low quality, it's because and they are very much platforming ideology, doing it very, very, very badly. They do it, they do it so to avoid criticism, I think, so they can make garbage and which is what Amazon's tried to do, make absolute garbage and then say, you don't like it? Oh, you must be racist if you don't like the wokeness in it. What's wokeness? I don't even know what it means. Really? Well, why did you define your life by it? Anyway, so I guess he's too white and too straight. I mean, Ralph C. Davey get away with it. He's gay. He's on the progressive stack. So Stephen Moffat, not on the progressive stack at all. And if you're not on the progressive stack and you're not doing a Chris Chibnall thing, which is actively promoting this ideology. And ideology, also another great tenet of wokeness, is a combination of things that no one believes in, right? No one believes in and everyone believes in. Things like black people are people too. Everybody believes that. Like, women are people too. Everybody believes that. People should be able to live their life without hindrance or prejudice. Everybody believes that. Right? Everybody believes that. And then you have things that not quite so many everybody believes. And you can always tell the things that not everybody believes it because they scream at the loudest. Things like, well, there's this teacher in Canada right now, this guy who identifies as a woman, and he's got it's so ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This massive pair of fake tits with like these massive nipples, right? And this person can hardly move. They're nearly at his knees. It's beyond ridiculous. And it's like, oh no, this is stunning and brave. No, it's weird, right? That's what woke is. Okay, that I think we've established that we know what woke is now. Fine. The Star TV writer has brought David Tennant and Stanley Tucci together for a new BBC drama. I was surprised it's on BBC, by the way, about good people forced to do bad things. And of course I'm going to watch it. I mean, honestly, I'm really glad that he's got a good deal going with Amazon. I just hope they Amazon is able to stay afloat and not end up, because again, Lord of the Rings is killing it. It's destroying their stock price. Oh my god, it's so bad, right? I mean, we can see Amazon Prime being sold to, I don't know, like it's like Warner Bros. Being sold to Discovery. Like, Discovery? What? Yeah, so like Amazon Prime gets sold to, I don't know, the Food Network, right? I can see that sort of thing happening, but I'm very glad they have a place, right? He talks about cliffhangers, powerful, sexy women, and what it would take to kill him. Well, I think just shooting you in the face normally does the trick, mate. I don't know. That's not an endorsement of violence, but it does the kind of trick. Stephen Moffat is flouncing down Piccadilly. Why is he flouncing? What does that mean? I've got 7 BAFTAs, he snarls, as we walk through the rain. We have just been refused admission for the sumptuous BAFTA restaurant in the West End where Moffat had a lunch date. What? Oh, okay. Before which we were planning on doing the interview. Moffat didn't shout, don't you know I am, at the receptionist, but it was implied by the way he stood. His wife, TV producer Sue Virtue, is a BAFTA member, but he isn't, so they won't let us in, even though I'm pretty sure someone made a reservation. He's not allowed into the BAFTA restaurant? That sounds very British, doesn't it? What? More if you count the Welsh BAFTA. Nobody counts Welsh BAFTA, mate. Okay, no one. Don't get ahead of yourselves. I'd have bought them evidence, but I probably couldn't carry them all. It does sound like Stephen Moffat, doesn't it? The former head writer of Doctor Who and Sherlock had a couple of primetime Emmys to his name, plus a Royal Television Society Awards and an OBE, right? Hasn't been used so far, he says, of the OBE. Well, listen, my mother would. My mother would. If she had an OBE, she would so use it. She had cancer. She had cancer a long time. Like, she's dead now. Been dead like 17, 18 years now. I mean, dead a long time. Like but she died of cancer. When she was alive, she used her cancer mercilessly. And again, this was back in the early 2000s where people were more uncomfortable. Well, there's an idea of public decency. We don't have that today, but there was an idea of public decency then. And so, she was on a plane and she was too near the smoking section. That's how old this is, right? She said she would get up loudly and said, I didn't go through 6 months of chemotherapy to be sat in smoking. Embarrassing the British Airways staff. So they would move her to first class, right? And they tried to bring her economy food. She ripped their heads off. That's my mother for you, right? Everything I love about myself is all the worst parts of myself, and they all come from my mother. Being a snob, being short, putting people down. I like all that, and it all comes from my mother, right? Who was not a person you should get on the wrong side of. What I should realize is the 60-year-old TV writer is giving a performance. Moffat is too self-aware to throw hubristic hissy fit. Yet this outrage one feels would not have to happen to actors who have found fame from his words over the years. David Tennant, Stanley Tucci, Jenna Coleman, Benedict Cumberbatch, Martin Freeman. Honestly, I think Sherlock was an important stepping stone in his career, but it was The Office that put him on the map. Matt Smith, okay, found Matt Smith, Karen Jim, that too. Klaus Bang, Dolly Wells, Pearl Mackie, and many others. Writers, though, are never A-list. That's very true, isn't it? Or are they? Moffat phone rings. We're in. Minutes later, we begin to be served. That's funny. As he's telling me dreams of being a murderer. Okay, it bothers me at night. What would it take a person like me to kill someone? I don't know I really have the guts. I'd like to, and I think it was wrong. Well, that's a good thing. You're a nice person, I say. Thank you, says Moffat. I am, aren't I? Okay. Moffat's excellent new 4-part drama, Inside Man, about what happens when nice people do something they know to be wrong. One of them is American criminology professor called Jefferson Grief, I guess played by Stanley Tucci, who is on death row after murdering his wife. Another is a vicar played by David Tennant, who has locked up his son's maths tutor in a cellar so he doesn't go to police and find out about the child abuse images she has found on the boy's laptop. Oh, blimey. I tell you, that just gets worse and worse, doesn't it? Man, that's really heavy. Okay, none of this is your frothy Doctor Who fare. I hope they're going to get to Doctor Who, which is kind of the reason I'm doing this interview. Covering this interview. Moffat recalls a line from his drama explains why nice people kill. David Tennant is trying to explain his moral scruples to his wife in terms of his Christian religion. And she just says, Jesus didn't have kids. That line comes from Moffat's sensibility. What would prompt a writer to kill if someone had harmed or sought to harm his kids? Right? Oh, it just jumped. All right. How intriguing is it then that in Inside Man, the vicar's son is played by one of Moffat's sons? That's interesting. I think David Tennant's son's going to be in House of the Dragon this week, right? I think they're bringing in like a lot of new cast, so that'd be interesting. The other thing about murder is that it's really hard. It probably is. Doing nothing is much easier. Moffat cites Hitchcock's 1966 film Torn Curtain to make his point. It takes a professor played by Paul Newman and a farmer's wife 8 minutes and 8 seconds to murder a Stasi agent. Wow. I thought it was time to show how difficult, very painful, and long time it takes to kill a man. Okay, said Hitchcock at the time. The lesson for Moffat is clear. Solving murder is easier than committing murder. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's actually probably true for most people. Until you cross that line, right? Until you break that line. In Judaism we have an idea. You get three times before something becomes normal to you. They would say during the Holocaust, World War II, that like religious Jews who survived, they said the first time they ate non-kosher food, because you had to wait, there's no, they like felt sick, they threw up. It was second time it was like, oh, I have to, I don't have a choice. Third time it tasted great. Nobody thought about it. So I guess it takes 3 murders, right, before you're like, yeah, no problem. Okay, and once somebody crosses the line, then it's. I mean, if you ever see what movie is that? Quite a good one on Netflix. The Irishman, Robert De Niro. Lots of digital aging and unaging about the guy who supposedly killed Jimmy Hoffa. And again, you see that that line being crossed, and how it becomes easy at that point. When Moffat was writing Sherlock between 2008 and 2017, he wasn't concerned about such matters. Sherlock turns up after a crime has been committed. He comes in and sees the body in the library, solves the crime, guessing accurately, but accidentally the real drama is before he arrives. I can see why that's a good formula, right? I guess it's a lot more fulfilling. I don't remember the one with the bloodhound. Which one what was that in? Was that the sign of 3, right? Because it was a sign of 4 that he used a bloodhound, I believe, and I only know that because the Jeremy Brett version is very, very good indeed. Was it Toby? Right? It says Watson to get Mr. Toby, and he said, "When I've had Toby's help, then the entire London Constabulary." Right? Jeremy Brett was a great Holmes, wasn't he? Don't think Sherlock was formulaic. We don't think of shows like Sherlock as dramas, says Moffat. We think of them as entertainment, as puzzle boxes. Nothing wrong with that, or at least I don't think so. But a lot of people do. I see what I do as merely clever. That clearly rankles, as did the reviews when he got a backlash began against Sherlock's scripted cleverness. What backlash? That's what we all liked about it, right? What? I understand. My favourite review was one of Sherlock that went, as ever, regretfully, it falls back on cleverness. It falls back on, he snarls, that's just my default position, being smarter than you. Yeah, I mean, that's what we like Sherlock Holmes, because he's cleverer than you. Right? And we go, oh, that's cool. Right? I guess if you're a dumb person, It must rankle somewhat. I mean, people being cleverer than you, I guess. Why can't Sherlock just be ordinary? Why? Why? Because maybe ordinary wouldn't have made Sherlock an international success. Exactly. Or Sherlock Holmes an international success. You know, I mean, that's really one of the big problems with the Christian or Doctor Who. Because they've said the Doctor is infinite, right? Immortal and infinite and like endless. There's a gazillion, there's like limitless regenerations that I had that we haven't seen. None of them white and male, of course. Oh no, none of those icky white males. No. Which is obviously the reason they did the stupidity that they did, right? But it also makes it ordinary. Once everybody can be the Doctor, then he is not interesting, isn't it? All that's true, but at least one of Sherlock's scripts by Moffat and co-writer Mark Gatiss was savage for sexism. Again, but this is what happens when talented people live and work in an insane world, right? In other Conan style, A Scandal in Bohemia, Irene Adler's an adventure outwits Holmes. In the free adaptation of the story in Sherlock, as Jane Claire Jones puts it in The Guardian 10 years ago, she is remade by Moffat as a high-class dominatrix, saved by certain death by the dramatic intervention of our hero. I think that was a kind of faithful reinvention. Let's see, I'm coughing, I still got COVID. I think it's a faithful reinvention, a modern interpretation of, Irene Adler, the woman. Conan Doyle's original is hardly an example of gender evolution. You got to worry when a woman comes off worse in 2012 than 1891. Again, if you're insane, right? Again, going back to being woke, right? It's insane ideology that either people completely believe in or don't believe in. Women are people too. Women are a oppressed subclass in the Western world. No, they're not. No, women are not an oppressed subclass in the Western world. Will you stop with this nonsense? They're the most privileged people in existence, especially attractive, blonde, college-educated women. Right? They are the most privileged people. And I'm sorry, that's not quite enough privilege, right? But, geez, really? What more do you want? I know what more you want. You want all men to act like women. And you still want to be turned on by them, right? Yeah, good luck with that. Morons. At the time, Moffat surprisingly didn't agree. In the original, Irene Adler's victory over Sherlock Holmes was to move house and run away with her husband. That's not a feminist victory. I tend to agree. Moffat was also criticised for writing boring female characters during a stewardship of Doctor Who. What? Okay. The only time you've had boring female characters in Doctor Who is Chibnall onwards. What? Clara is boring. I mean, she was a bit smug, right? Karen Gillan, like, there's a reason she's an international celebrity now, right? It's not that she was very good and very talented. She's very well written as well. Everybody loved Amy, right? And she started off being an unlikable character, like always willing to cheat and treat Rory badly. And we all loved Amy. In fact, like, who did not cry? And if you don't have to admit it, okay? I'll admit it for you. Who didn't cry at the Matt Smith's regeneration scene when she turns up? Both Matt Smith and Karen Gillan are both wearing wigs. Like, it was perfect, right? I don't know what they're talking about. See, I have no idea. But I guess it wasn't stunning as brave as Yaz, right? Yaz, who wants to have a lesbian relationship with the Doctor. God, and that was all played awfully, right? Claire Jones accused them of plucking female characters from bookmarked, tired old tropes. Again, are you liking the current Doctor Who, you idiot woman, right? Oh my god. Yeah, well, the thing that offends me most about modern feminism, it turns intelligent people into blubbering morons, right? It's like, I've was a friend, a friend and neighbor, very, very big into Biden. Why are they big into Biden? Because they hated Donald Trump. Why they hate Donald Trump? Because the media over and over and over again told them that Donald Trump is a sexist, right? Over and over again, pump that story, right? And it fed into this person's prejudices very, very strongly. And over the last 5 years, I've seen, again, intelligent person, right? Genuinely intelligent person, educated and not uninformed. I mean, she's uninformed because she gets the news from media that purely lies to her, right? But she's believed with all her heart every hoax after hoax after hoax after hoax, right? She believed that abortion was going to be outlawed in America, and was it interrace marriage, and it's crazy things. Because and they believe all this bullshit, just like this woman Claire, whatever her name is calling her tired old tropes, because Moffat's writing characters that people actually connect to and like. Drip, Skull, Temptress, Earth Mothers, to name a few. Again, what character do you want? I mean, the current day Doctor Who, which I'm sure Claire Jones has been flying a flag for, because it's not about it being good, it's not about it being bad, it's about being on the same tribe, right? There has been no characters. There's no because you can't write characters for these morons, because you can't put any flaws in them or put them in any danger, which means it's pretty darn boring. Why can't Sherlock be normal? I mean, okay, could it be boring, you stupid morons? His consequent failure to sketch a compelling central dynamic between the lead and the companion has seriously affected the show's dramatic power. What the fuck are you talking about? Again, Matt Smith and Amy and Bill Potts. What are you fucking talking about? River Song. What are you fucking talking about, moron? Moffat books this, quite right too. Noting two leading females he created, River Song, Amy Pond, hardly weak women. It's the exact opposite. You could accuse me of having a fetish for powerful, sexy women who like cheating people. That would be fair, okay. But in mind of these criticisms, Moffat says the same coverage has always pegged him as an insane right-wing misogynist. I'm really none of those things. Yeah, but you're not completely in the cult. No matter how much he pretended to be. Which is why I don't think Bill Potts was the worst thing ever, right? Especially so. I think he was under immense pressure to put in an LGBTQ plus companion. I think genuinely immense pressure, and I think making a female master was also very, very helpful. And I think it all worked, frankly. Bottom line, I think we got really enjoyable Doctor Who out of it. And I'm certainly not a proselytizer for docile women. This heavily subscribed to myth. Well, there's so many of them, aren't there? Oh, man. Okay, so after this video, I think I'm going to go do the emergency procedure of making a cup of tea. Okay, that sounds like a plan. It doesn't matter. You're none of those things. Again, for the insane woke crowd, which Claire, whatever her name clearly is, you are, because you're just not. You're too white and you're too male, right? And you're not bending over backwards to transmit this false narrative that women are oppressed in the Western world, right? You want to see women be oppressed? Go to Saudi Arabia, okay? Then you'll see what it looks like. Yeah, try walking around with a pride flag in Tehran and see how that goes down. Yeah, good luck with that. This is heavily subscribed to myth. I don't know where it came from. I don't exactly. We live in insane worlds, right? I have never known a docile woman. Me either, actually. I mean, more than a docile man. You just step through the front door and you accept your junior. You step through the front door and you accept your junior status and think, I can still beat the dog. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. The opening scene of Inside Man is striking in this context. It's a vignette about misogynistic lout on a train undone by a far from docile woman. Doesn't look like I'm going to... Again, this is just par for the course of 2022. The man spreader gazes lasciviously at the passenger opposite him, who turns out to be a key character in the drama. Journalist Beth Davenport, played by It's the Sins Lydia West, very hot, gets up to her. He gets up to proposition her. Everyone encourages uncomfortable, yet no one does anything. Moffat says he can relate to this mass in action. There's always an argument with, which loads of cowards like me would make, that if we do nothing, it will just stop. So nothing is the right thing to do. Yeah, people are scared. People, especially nowadays. There's an Arab expression which translates to roughly, all the intervener gets is torn clothes. Yeah, listen, especially now, right? You're gonna get beaten into a pulp if you try and get involved. But like, I keep seeing all this insane crime on social media. It's very scary. I'm glad I live in Israel. Hey, it's much better over here. But the scene escalates. The woman takes a photo of the harassment and the lout demands she delete it. That's assault, he tells her, snatching her phone. You invaded my personal space. I'm deleting your assault. He may be ill-informed about the law, but physically he's a scary presence. Still, that is, a third woman stands up and tells him that she's live-streaming his assault. With a bit of luck, the police will be at the next stop to arrest him. Emboldened, other women stand up, start filming. I hate this already, right? Again, look at, you called him a racist. He bent over backwards to show you he's not. You're going to keep on calling him a racist, a misogynist, a sexist, right? We see, this is a great cross-section of how creativity is destroyed. Creativity is completely destroyed by this wokeness, right? Again, I've defined the term. And you see him bending over backwards to try and do it. Like with this scene, oh God, it sounds awful. The one who claimed to have alerted the police is the hero of the moment, and in a piece of foreshadowing, she's a math tutor called Janice Fife, played by Dolly Wells, whom Tennant's vicar will later imprison. We know then that what the vicar doesn't. He has picked the wrong person. She represents the kind of woman I know. Represents the kind of woman we all know, right? Again, who do you think is this docile woman that just goes, oh, okay? I mean, I guess if again it was the Queen's funeral. So I saw the only person not in military uniform. It was Andrew, right? Because he had sex with a prostitute, right? And that turned out to be completely unacceptable. I mean, excuse me, powerful, wealthy elites have had sex with prostitutes all through time. Now, again, prostitution is not a victimless crime, especially the Epstein stuff, where the young lady in question was clearly coerced into it. I just don't understand how you get coerced into having sex and pretending to enjoy it, right? I don't understand that, right? But okay, fine. But still, I don't understand why. He was the only person who had experienced active combat, right? Flew military missions in the Falklands War, campaign, war, whatever. And he was the only one not in military outfit. I was like, this is ridiculous, right? But again, and he committed the crime of having sex with a prostitute. Okay. What about all the other people that had sex with Epstein's prostitutes? No, we just forget about them forever. It just seems very unfair that he's singled out. There really should be one standard in law, right? In justice. Otherwise, there's no standard. Anyway. So, the kind of woman that is used to manipulating fools like us with a tilted head and humility. Oh God. Again, Stephen, mate. You don't have to. I know you're surrounded by these insane people. You're talking to crazy people right now, which is why you sound crazy. The kind of woman who, when you go one step far, pushes right back. She's missed pushback. I know that kind of woman for sure. Yeah, it's basically the majority of people working as executives in the TV industry, right? I last interviewed Stephen Moffat 10 years ago, and he has 7.9 million BBC Sunday night viewers on tenterhooks. Sherlock Cumberbatch had plunged from the building. So yeah, they're saying that Jodie Whittaker is gonna end on a cliffhanger because of this. I hope so. Oh, I hope so. Please end on a cliffhanger with no David Tennant. I'd be really happy about that. I guess we're gonna find out in a few weeks. Possibly pushed by Andrew Scott's Moriarty to his seemingly to his death. No, Moriarty killed himself first, right? I mean, pushed as in manipulated. We all knew the sleuth had to survive if this was to be a series 3, but how? Perhaps the falling body was Moriarty in a Sherlock mask. Perhaps the pathologist Molly supplied the corpse and threw him through. No matter how many times I asked him, he wouldn't reveal the secret. There's a clue that everybody's missed, he's told me then. Clearly taking pleasure on flummoxing not just me, but millions of people around the world. Wasn't there a weird solution to that to say it could have been a number of different things? Right? I seem to remember. Moffat stopped writing Sherlock in 2017, but for all that he claims he is not interested in writing more clever crime storylines. I've constantly tried to not write them as aphrodisiacally, if that's the word, as I have in the past. But he can't help himself. Also, romantic comedies. That's just what he likes doing. In Inside Man, for example, Tush's professor Grief is. Well, his name's Grief. That's a bit on the nose. Is essentially Sherlock solving crimes from his cell. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. We're gonna get more series of it then. Visitors bring him unsolved cases where he pits his intelligence, aided by a terrifying serial killer in the next cell who has a photographic memory, who for reasons I can scarcely account for ate his mother's foot. Man, that sounds really cool. Okay, so you got a cringe feminist scene to start with. Basically just to appease the cringe feminists that control the world. They'll still call you misogynist, mate, right? They'll still call you misogynist. Moffat was born in Paisley near Glasgow in 1961. After an MA in English, he became a secondary school teacher in Greenock. His TV career break came in the 80s. Thanks to Harry Seacombe. Oh, a bit highway. There was the former goon visited Thorne Primary School in Johnstone, Renfrewshire, to film his religious show Highway. All right. Moffat's father, Bill, the school's head teacher, allowed the show's producer to film on condition that he read his own script for a TV series about a local school newspaper. Well done. I love these stories, right? I love these stories of how people break the odds, right? Wait. This became ITV's press gang during its 6-year run. Moffat's wife first left him for another man. He plundered that breakup for his next project, which BBC sitcom Joking Apart, and the sitcom writer. Then the rise and fall of relationships. His later sitcoms Chalk, set in a school, and Coupling, which satirized commitment phobia. He again mined his own biography. Is that Julia Swahala? Is that man? She looked great then. Oh, how was she? What, 16? There you go. Even since he fulfilled his childhood dream in 2004 and he was hired to write for Doctor Who. The stuff has been, he says, action, mystery, suspense, adventure, all those things opposed to a deep analysis of the failure of the human heart that I could never possibly write. Okay, why not? He wants to read an angst-ridden ravings of a middle-class successful writer who has had his 2 dream jobs, writing Doctor Who and Sherlock, right? Yes. Look, honestly, Stephen, I'm happy to read. I'm happy to watch whatever you want to make. I normally like it, right? I always wanted Gatiss and Moffat to do James Bond, right? Because they really understood Dracula with the Klaus Bang Dracula, which I know a lot of people didn't like. It wasn't popular, but they understood Dracula as a genre, and we had 3 different Dracula movies, 90-minute specials that represented 3 different distinct Dracula type movies. And much with Sherlock, I think much with Doctor Who as well, right? The power of their writing comes from really deeply understanding those things. So I think they'll be great at doing James Bond. Now, though, his days of on those internationally successful franchises are over. His friend Rusty Davis has returned to Doctor Who showrunner, but Moffat has told Radio Times this spring he has no such ambitions. Everyone can stop worrying. I did 6 seasons on the trot, plus an extra special, which he wasn't planning. I can't imagine going back into doing that. Oh, I can. Oh, man, we've got a lot more to go. Well, okay, fine. I thought we were over. But he has been busy. In 2020, he and Gatiss disinterred Bram Stoker's 1897 novel as a well-received drama series called Dracula. But again, starring Klaus Bang and Dolly Wells. Also, Dolly Wells was the Van Helsing. Again, it will this injection of wokeness, right? It genuinely hurt it. I would love to know. Like we haven't had any announcement of. Season 2 of Sandman, Sandman wasn't bad, right? And I doubt we're going to get it. If we haven't got an announcement now, I don't think we're going to get one at all. Maybe I'm wrong. But how would it done if it wasn't woke, right? If it didn't have that woke casting, which the woman who played Death was woke casting. I'm sorry, right? To say, I see no difference between a black woman and a very, very white woman, you're lying. You're lying to everybody, right? And I think not having fandom on board to really push the series hurt them, right? And I think they didn't have fandom on board because of that. And then since then, Neil Gaiman's been like spouting out about Lord of the Rings, going, "Oh, I don't think you understand the source material." No, I think you know what? I don't, right? I'm not an expert in Tolkien, but I'm pretty sure it's not that trash they put on screen, right? If it is, I don't think many people will be interested in it. Why? Because not people are interested, because it's garbage. It's hot garbage hiding behind wokeness. This is why I define it, so I can use the word. Because they have a lack of talent. The great thing is now I write for my own pleasure. Pleasure. He said, I can write whatever I want. He's had... he has such a name, he doesn't have to write to commission. Perhaps those bastards and OBE did help. Perhaps having a wife as a big-time producer helps too. That's certainly true. Certainly, Virtue had a brilliant idea when it came to casting Inside Man. She told Moffat that Tucci was becalmed during lockdown in Barnes. It was only a few miles away from the couple's home in Sheen, West London. Lockdown did have one advantage. It meant that Stanley was unable to travel, so he could play murder on death row, right? The US Supermax prison in which Tucci's killer is awaiting execution is really a set in England. It was right next to David Tennant Vicarage. You can see it from the window. I like knowing about things like that. Moffat has also written his first play, The Unfriend, in which is transferring to the West End from Chichester. It was inspired by a true story. 2 friends who had been on a cruise, and one fell in with an American woman whom they invited to stay with in London. Then they Googled her and found out she was a murderer. In reality, the couple revoked the invitation. The conceit of Moffat's play is the couple are too polite, too passive to do the same, and they invite Francis Barber's Elsa into their house. That's probably be a movie eventually. As we finish our chat, Moffat poses for pictures in a nearby graveyard of St. Wren's Church in his Marks and Spencer suit. He looks unusually soying. So I have no idea what that means. So, let's look up that word. dressed very elegantly and well groomed. Well, there you go. There you go. Nobody's ever said that about me. That's why I've never heard the word before. I hate this image. I've always hated being photographed. From the days that we had to do cast shots on Doctor Who, and all those gorgeous people, Jenna and Matt will be standing next to this plum duff. Oh, come on, no, you were great at that promotion. Again, you want to know how good you were at that promotion? Compare it to Chris Chibnall, right? We got his final episode coming up in under a month. We only just found out the title, and that was shit too, right? No trailer, nothing. Was it Jenna met something to blow? In the end, I just went with turning up in old clothes with food spilled down my t-shirt. Safer than not, nobody's really looking at me. Well, there you go. That's the way to do it. And he heads off through the rain to his lunch date at BAFTA. I hope they let him back in. I don't know. So Monday the 26th, Inside Man is starting. Listen, I won't watch it when it goes out, obviously. As I said, it's a Jewish New Year. I have to wait till, I guess, Wednesday. So is it any good? Yeah. Look, you're gonna know before me, mate. You are gonna know before me. That doesn't look like he's in a cemetery. That looks like he's down back of some steps. But anyway, what's the story of this interview? That a talented writer is forced to inject weirdness into their scripts, weird ideology into their scripts, so he's not hated by his profession. And even though he does it, he's still hated by the denizens of his profession. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.